Before you scroll away, let me ask you something that will stay with you long after this video ends. Do you believe being good keeps you safe? Do you believe that kindness protects you? That honesty earns you respect? That generosity builds loyalty? If you do, you've been living inside one of the most dangerous illusions society ever created. We were taught since childhood that goodness is rewarded, that the kind-hearted are loved, the honest are respected, and the selfless are remembered. But look closely at the world around you. How often does that actually happen? How many people do you know who gave everything, their time, their energy, their heart, only to be used, ignored, or betrayed? Niccolo Machiavelli saw this pattern 500 years ago. He lived in a time of ruthless politics, deceit, and manipulation, and he watched the good fall first. He noticed that kindness without strategy doesn't make you noble, it makes you vulnerable. You see, goodness is powerful, but only when it's controlled. Uncontrolled goodness is self-destruction dressed as virtue. We like to believe kindness is light, but light, when left unguarded, blinds. You give and they take. You forgive and they repeat. You love and they leave. This isn't a call to become cruel. This is a wake-up call to stop mistaking naivete for virtue. Because, as Machiavelli once hinted, it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. And maybe what he really meant wasn't about power. It was about survival. Why good people get hurt the most? Let's be honest. You've probably wondered why the world seems to punish the good and reward the ruthless. Why the liars rise faster. Why the manipulators seem more respected. And why the kind ones are always left questioning what they did wrong. The truth is simple and brutal. People don't see your goodness as a gift. They see it as permission. The more good you are, the more others project their darkness onto you. Psychologically, we all have a hidden bias. We exploit what doesn't resist us. If someone never says no, we subconsciously treat them as if their boundaries don't matter. It's not always malicious, sometimes it's human nature. This is what Machiavelli understood, that morality doesn't protect you in a world built on power. In his view, people act out of fear and self-interest far more than virtue. And yet, he wasn't cynical. He was simply honest about human nature. Friedrich Nietzsche later called this the cruelty of compassion. When you care too deeply, you start carrying pain that was never yours to hold. You give people the benefit of the doubt, even when they've already shown you their true face. And every time you forgive, every time you stay silent, you teach them that your kindness has no cost. The truth? Kindness that demands nothing will always be taken for granted, because people only respect what they fear losing. So ask yourself, when was the last time your kindness was respected because it was earned, not expected? Maybe the real tragedy isn't that the world lacks good people. It's that good people forget how to protect themselves. Machiavelli's warning, the price of pure goodness. Machiavelli wrote The Prince not as a manual for cruelty, but as a reflection of reality. He had seen noble rulers destroyed by their own innocence. He understood that morality, without strategy, becomes a weapon against the person who wields it. He once observed that men are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, and covetous. He didn't say it with hatred, he said it with accuracy. Because he saw what you see every day, that people will love you for what you give, until you stop giving. The shocking cost of kindness is that it often asks you to bleed quietly. You smile through disrespect. You apologize when you were the one hurt. You call it empathy, but sometimes it's fear of confrontation disguised as virtue. This is the part Machiavelli would call the moral trap. He believed the good must learn to act good, not be good blindly. Because if you walk through a world of wolves dressed as a lamb, you won't make it to tomorrow. But here's where the deeper wisdom lies. It's not about abandoning kindness. It's about mastering it. True kindness isn't soft. It's precise. It's knowing when to say no and when to walk away. It's having the courage to protect your light from those who only come to steal it. Machiavelli's hidden truth wasn't that kindness is weakness, but that unguarded kindness is suicide. And if you want to survive in a world that feeds on the naive, your goodness must have teeth. The psychology of strategic goodness. Let's dive deeper into the psychology. Carl Jung said that a man who is good but has not confronted his own shadow is not truly good, only harmless. That's the difference between being kind and being wise. Being harmless is passive. Being good, truly good, requires awareness. It's an act of strength, not surrender. You see, strategic kindness is about balance. It's about seeing people clearly, their motives, their patterns, their energy, and deciding how much of yourself they deserve. Think of your kindness as a sword, not a blanket. You don't hand it to everyone who asks. You wield it with intent. This is where psychology meets philosophy. Plato believed that virtue must be guided by wisdom, otherwise it becomes self-destructive. And modern psychology agrees. Empathy without boundaries leads to burnout, resentment, and emotional trauma. Maybe you've felt it. The exhaustion that comes from being the nice one. Always giving, always understanding, always showing up, even when nobody does the same for you. You start to lose yourself piece by piece. Not because you were too good, but because you forgot to include yourself in that goodness. The solution isn't to harden your heart, it's to refine it. To become what Machiavelli might call a strategic soul. Someone who can be kind and unyielding, compassionate and calculated, empathetic and powerful. Because in the end, the world doesn't need more kindness. It needs smarter kindness. The redemption of strength. Here's the final truth, the one most people will never accept. Goodness isn't measured by how much you give. It's measured by how much you refuse to lose of yourself in the process. The strongest people are not the cold or the cruel. They are the ones who've learned to give with boundaries, to love with clarity, and to forgive with distance. Machiavelli's hidden lesson wasn't about manipulation. It was about self-preservation in a world that punishes purity. He saw that goodness is power only when it's earned, not assumed. You are not here to be a martyr for everyone else's comfort. You are here to embody the kind of strength that kindness needs to survive. So next time you feel that ache, that quiet pain that comes from being the one who always gives, remember this: you can still be kind. You can still be good. But you must never again be unprotected. Because light without armor burns out. And your goodness deserves to endure. So learn to smile with awareness. Forgive with wisdom. Love with boundaries. And be kind, not because the world deserves it, but because you do. That's the shocking cost of kindness, and Machiavelli's truest hidden truth. Goodness is sacred, but only when you have the strength to defend it.